Don's about to call me. Don is a guy in. I messed up. He's trying to call me. I wonder what happened. I'm trying to talk to Don in. He's in China, so he seems to be a good person to hook up. Knows what's going on. And I think is going to be a crucial person on this. So hopefully he was on a second ago, then I lost him. Hey, are you behind a? Yeah, you may be behind a firewall because you're not showing up as being online. Can you hear me? Yeah, I hear you fine. You're loud and clear. Oh, okay. Well, you're fine. I mean, if this is good for me. If it's good for you, all right. Well, I have a DC number, so I'm kind of working the project. Technically, the project headquarters is in DC. The current capital of the world until Beijing claims it in the next 15 years. So right now, that's I figure that's probably the best positioning, and DC's there, the government's there. Um, but the project really doesn't have a home base, I would say. I mean, I'm in Japan, but I wouldn't say it's not a Japanese product. It's not. I don't, it's wherever the people are. Well, I was impressed by your background and what you're doing, and you're actually, what's it like being in China? How? Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. Um, what's China like? How long have you been there, and what motivated you to go? Uh huh. Mhm. Right. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, yeah, you are perfect. Don't worry, you're perfect. Your volume, I mean, perfect. So, right. Right. That sounds great. Um, you're like, what you're doing is, is really the type of person that I'm. The reason I even posted on Guru was to hopefully identify someone, in your position with your background. So I think there's a good opportunity for us to work together here, and and really make an impact. I look as China is probably our predominant customer for this product, even though it's going to be in English and everything else, the way that it's going to be designed. I don't know if there's a lot of discussion in China about how they're going to educate their kids. Are they going to in the new, are they going to do bricks and mortar? Are they going to try to train 100,000 teachers? I mean, what's their plan? Right. 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 Mm. Right. 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 Well, I'm approaching this from the kind of perspective, build it and they will come. So, I, and that's the reason why I'm not really too, some people talk to me, so, well, why don't you go after the U.S. education system and get them, and, that's an uphill battle. You'd spend, 100 years getting through all the committees and bullshit, trying to get the buy-in for a flat education system. So, how I look at it is this: I believe the technology for the Winky tube exists, and it just needs to be assembled. A lot of folks, I'm a gamer. I don't know about you, but I'm a gamer at heart. I beta tested UO. I beta tested EverQuest. You name it, all the original, all the big games. That have now all education is going to this virtual reality hype. It's kind of the thing. You've got Alice, you got a bunch of companies all kind of rushing into this arena, and I'll tell you that arena is flawed, and it's not going to go anywhere because I've put in the 1,000 hours, and I know how the youngsters are going to go in that arena. And it ends up being it ends up them getting bored, or they can't compete with the graphics of the online gaming arena, what's going on there. And so it's a dead end. So all these companies that are looking at this, that are putting a ton of money into this that way, are going down the wrong river. It's not going to go anywhere. The way to approach this is I think of a combination. I use the sentence on, I use the description. Imagine NBA All Stars meets Who Wants to Be a Millionaire on steroids. Kids, are highly competitive. So, and this project, I call it K12, but really, the platform that I'm looking to build is multifaceted, and there's a hardware component. And I don't have a lot. I try to, the website is more of mental masturbation, my thoughts, getting it out there, with a project starting up. Just, it's just one perspective on what I see. The reality is we bring on designers and folks who have a creative or technology background. It's probably going to tweak the final product a little bit, or substantially. But the basic idea is this: is we create a platform that is based on U.S. and European education standards, focus on math and science, which is both those curriculums are pretty much laid out. Whether I understand, I went to school in Spain, I have my O levels in from England, so I know elementary school, high school process. I went back to America, finished high school, went and got so, and I retired at 35 to Japan, to be more or less one step away from a Buddhist monk, and focused on I want to just have a great wife, just spend 100% of my time with my family, raise my kids, and not be raised like I was raised with where my dad was gone 80% of the time and my mom was God knows off doing whatever. I've got a personal commitment to my kids that I don't want that. Plus the whole idea of marrying an American woman, and I'm a sales guy, and I'm sure you are kind of at heart too, since you're starting your own. We all are. I like, sales is all odds, and if you get in a relationship and there's an 80% chance of it failing, why get into that relationship? I mean, play the statistics. Whereas if you marry a Japanese or Chinese woman, you understand if it's a good, that the averages are you're not going to be, you have to worry about this person taking you to the cleaners or having some bullshit experience. So I've got the life. I mean, I've been here 3 years. I've taken 3 years off. And I have fun teaching some elementary schools. I just have fun. I mean, I have the perfect life. I'm not a millionaire. I could care less about money. To me, it's the quality of life, and Japan is an amazing. I feel safe. It has the technology. It has has everything, and they're the only country that's making money off China. I don't know how long that's going to last, but So I figured for the future prodigy of my ancestors came to the States to escape European bullshit, and I'm leaving America to escape that bullshit, to position my children for the next big empire, which is going to be China. You know it, I know it. I mean, all the people who have their heads in the sand in America are, it's going to be America's going to have a really tough time the next 20 years, and it's just going to get worse and worse. So with that said, when my wife got pregnant, all of a sudden I started thinking about education. I had incorporated a nonprofit actually 4 years ago in 2002. Because I was involved in a startup called the Digital Arena, and our vision was IT training, high school students, attract the high school students with the gaming, capture that audience, give them education, MCSC, all that crap, and then get them into the corporate level and say, well, why go after someone graduated from college which has the same skill set from a kid who's getting their Cisco, whatever, the certification, get someone in for $22,000 instead of, $60,000. Get them right out of high school with the qualifications you need, plug them in, and so on. So that was the vision. But we missed the bubble, and anyway. So that was near here or there. So I had incorporated, because my background is in nonprofits. I have a master's degree. I know how about raising money. I know about structuring boards. I know all that stuff. I have very little experience on the business side, but I know the nonprofit side. So I started this project basically a month ago, really, to be honest with you. The idea has been kicking around inside me for 10 years, but I finally started 10 years, a month ago. I said, I'm just going to do it. I've got nothing else to do better with my time and, than get this going. So that's when I put a couple posts on Guru. I was surprised they're still around. I remember them from 8 years ago. So it just kind of came to me, let's go put something on Guru. And what I've been doing, in order for me to raise money to get this thing going, is I'm pulling the nonprofit from out of hibernation, putting together the board, and understand there's going to be multiple funding streams. I don't see this as just a nonprofit, and there's going to be a money side to this, and it's going to be a partnership. So we're going to have maybe the portal, or maybe the hardware. The portal and the hardware is going to be a for-profit entity. The education side, the going after the foundations and all that crap is going to be the nonprofit. So, what I'm looking at is I want to manage, and I can do the nonprofit side. What I need folks, can help put together and be, the team, or be part of the, we're all on the same team here, do the for-profit side. And I've got a good guy on board already that I actually got from Guru called Alan Gwynns, who's got, he's 35 years of experience, written a ton of business plans, has dealt with venture capital, good old Southern boy from Tennessee, real laid back, and he's like, I get it, I see where you're going. We spent an hour talking. He says, let me start putting some ideas together. And I told him this. I said, listen, Alan, like I said, I'm not in this for being a millionaire. I'm not in this for fame. I'm in this to make this happen, okay? I can do the nonprofit side. I tell you what, you take care of the for-profit side, okay? You handle that. I will come in and do the dog and pony shows and show the passion to the investors and the fanaticism and wow them and, whatever it takes to bring in the money. But you're the wisdom, the calmness, everything, that I'm not, right? You're the business. So you're the reins on the wild stallion, that's out there, going gung-ho with this. And what I want to focus on is continue identifying the team, because that's my skill set, talking to folks like yourself. I've got some, I'm working on pulling together the software. There's going to be, we're going to have to pull a game designer. I spent about 3 years trying to get into the gaming industry. I know the gaming industry. I went to LA, whatever that thing is. I can't think. I went to I went to E3 or E4, which is the entertainment expo, right, for all the new games. So I've got some friends, I've got contacts, and we're going to pull on a gaming company to kind of build the front end of this. The back end will be what I call it's all going to be open source, except for maybe some of the front end. I don't know. But it's pretty much going to be all open source. And I'll tell you why that is. One, it's going to help me raise the money, because my positioning will be to these organizations, foundations, and stuff we approach is, your investment not only is going to help flatten education globally, okay, but we're also going to be used to produce a tool that we're not Apple. We're going to give this tool to the world. So if you have a learning environment in China, right? So wouldn't it be cool to have the perfect learning environment tool, okay, that you can, screw classrooms now, screw teachers. You can do everything on the educational knowledge process. We can do that. The application side, that's what school becomes. They come into your university, they come into your high school, and they apply the knowledge, whether it's in workshops, whether it's in presentations, whether it's in, so school becomes a lab, right? Learning becomes, becomes an online process. So once we have, and like I said, I think you probably, when I was trying to do this, 4 years ago, a lot of the technology and the successes of Wikipedia and all that crap wasn't there. I mean, it was kind of there and it was growing, right? But no one knew about it. And if you go to an investor and say, well, we'll build this thing and we'll have 100,000 teachers all contributing to it and we don't have to worry about translating to Chinese, because if we build it in the right way and we provide the tools and the mechanism for the bilingual teacher to listen to the English presentation, right, on a teacher on what I call the skeleton, right? They listen to the skeleton multimedia piece, which is going to be really nicely crafted and put together. They can just voice over. They can add, do their own little video on it. So they can mute the sound, and they can be the person, be the teacher, whilst the demonstration, the class is done professionally by us. Make sense? So just like 600,000 pages of Wikipedia is in English. Over 2 million is in other languages, because what people are doing is they're looking at the source, right? And they're saying, oh, I can translate English. I mean, I don't have the skill set to get this information, but I can translate it. Now, a couple other things that are going on, which I don't know if you're aware of, and you may not be, is the one laptop per child. Are you aware of that project? Nicholas Negroponte? No. This is a global initiative. Okay, I have a link on there under Nicholas Negroponte. He is the guy behind one laptop per China. Now, this is the deal. Again, there's a TED video that I strongly recommend you taking a look at that I have linked on the Winky there. He basically, within 24 months, probably less, within 2 years, within 18, I think he says 18 years from the time he said on the thing, but I think that's maybe a little optimistic. they're basically have 5 to 10 million laptops being bought by different groups. The following year is going to be 100 million, and about 100 million laptops are going to be distributed to, Africa, to India, to China, to whoever. And this is the One Laptop per Child initiative. It's been, this guy is very passionate behind it. I'm getting a little static. Am I clear? Well, right. Right. Well, let me just the One Laptop per Child. They're going to network to network. They've got that figured out. They're going to, each one will be its own network. So they will. If you look at the designs, they will themselves will be the network. So they have, I don't know what that's called in tech terms, but each one will be a host to the other, and they will be able to connect within each other. And then the idea is then if one has access to the line, then they all have access. Now they're gonna have shitty connection. The other thing that's going on is AMD has made an announcement called AMD 1550, which is their commitment by 2015 to have 50% of the world with broadband access. So it's a big initiative that they're doing. I'm not too worried about the broadband access and all that, because I know that's going to be there eventually, right? And whether it takes 8 years or it takes 15, another 8 years to 2015 or whatever, it's going to be there. The big cities, the places that has broadband access would be able to utilize K12, the project. So the reason why I was saying the One Laptop, what I see is they're opening the door. One of two ways. One is we'll be able to partner with them, and we'll work as a partnership and be kind of phase two. How I see is phase two, because I think what they're going to do is open the door, so they're paving the way. So what the problem is they have no content. They're giving away these, and this is my negative, my thing about them. They're giving away these $130 laptops to kids who can't read, can't write, can't do anything. Yeah, the laptop's touchscreen. They have no content for it. And if you listen to Nick, he goes, well, we'll let the community teachers, the regional teachers, develop the content. Now, how idiotic is that? Most of them probably have a high school education. They have no idea how to build content, right? So, in my opinion, it's like, let's give Lamborghinis to a bunch of kindergarten kids. And yeah, great, this is fun. They'll have fun with it, and they'll probably end up being, something to eat off. But what I want to be able to do is come in behind that and say, yeah, they're at $130. You saw the value, the benefit. The kids have loved it. But why don't we provide you the tool that's not only the vehicle but also the teacher? So we will put the infrastructure, the courseware, which in my opinion is already out there. It just needs to be pulled together. And to give you an idea, what I'm really interested in doing is creating partnership or using, let me just kind of give you an image of how I see this hardware piece working. So it's a tablet, and there's actually a video by Jeff Hand. So imagine the kid just touches the monitor, right, and it turns on, and there's an avatar which Microsoft's been spending 15 years now working on, pops up. Before the kid gets it, the teacher programs it, maybe takes 10 minutes on each laptop, and gives the kid's name and everything else. So the first thing that the thing does is talks to him. It goes, "Hi, Johnny, are you ready to learn?" There's no writing, there's nothing, and it's completely manipulated by touch. There's no keyboard, there's none of that. And this technology is relatively cheap. The thing that's going to be most expensive is the size of the flat screen, but those prices are going down. And what I'm saying is it may cost $900, whereas but the idea is that they're going to get a vehicle to take them from knowing nothing to graduate to even further. I don't see a limit. I don't see this ending at high school. So anyway, but the idea of this is to kind of leverage existing things that are happening, and education now is becoming a pretty big issue. And my big thing is I don't understand why we don't have a flat education system, and why my vision is to have kids, just as they're now competing in Guild War. Guild War is it's a huge game right now. It's got about 8 million users or kids, and they've got the Koreans are dominating it, and the Japanese are in it. I mean, they're all fighting. So there's a global war going on right now on this stupid game called Guild Wars, and the kids are the kids spend hundreds and hundreds of hours and hours and hours developing the characters, learning, because they want to be better than the Koreans. And if you have a flat education system, you're going to have the Chinese and the American kids and they're and this is going to the system is also going to be soft in the sense that the education is going to be online, and you can either learn off the hardware or you can learn if you have a connection, right? So anyone who has a PC will be able to manipulate it with a mouse. You don't need the hardware to access this. But you can also, I don't know about kids in China, but kids in Japan are always on their cell phone. They're riding their bicycle, holding an umbrella, typing on their cell phone. So the idea is, using whether it's I can't think of the platform right now. Scion uses it. It's a Scion software product that's in all the cell phones. I can't think of the name. Well, there's a software that's in predominant all the high-end softwares, and I can't think of what it's called on the top of my head. But it will push information on that, so kids can at least they may watch a video or they may listen to a lecture from some MIT professor on Shake or whatever that's been translated into Japanese, and then the push they can take tests or whatever on their cell phone later on, or in Japan they just came out with the iPod cell phone. So you just download your lecture. This is this is my lectures for the day. I'm going to listen to it, and then I'm going to take these tests on the cell phone. So, and every time I take a test, it's cha-ching, and they're winning points towards the PlayStation 3. They're winning points towards a trip to a scholarship. It's all it's a game, So everyone all the time, kids. I know how kids are. If we build this the right way, and I know exactly how we need to build this, it's going to be like Wikipedia. There's not going to be multiple platforms. Whoever builds this and get this all out there first, and the kids are using it, is going to be what they use. That's how I look at it. And all these different, like you described, I agree. There's a lot. There's online university just got a huge amount of funding from, Hewlett Packard. There's the Microsoft Philadelphia High School, online high school, whatever. There is Rice University with connections. There is, Alice, which is 3D World. They're all running in these different directions, but they're not seeing, the big picture, in my opinion. And I guess I have a vision, and I see, I see so clearly it working, and seeing the kids on it, and seeing how, the pieces, it's like it already exists. So, I guess in that way, so that's, I guess that kind of gives you an overview of the project and where I'm at. Let me just give you what's going on with the project. Right now, I'm assembling the board for the nonprofit. Okay, so one of the key players, you may know Clyde Presowitz. Clyde? He just wrote a book called The World is Tilting. He has a lot of Chinese connections. He knows the World Bank. He just spent 6 months meeting with World Bank officials. He used to work under Reagan. I've got a link for him on my website. Clyde is probably going to be on board. This is a guy. This is the type of guy who he speaks after Clinton. Any place Clinton speaks, he's usually the guy after Clinton. And he's got CEO friends in China. He speaks fluent Japanese. He was here for 20 years, and he's basically, I look at him as a door opener. And if you look at the website, I don't know if you're online. I can actually push you the link. Let's see, project summary. He's going to be a key person, and I've been, nurturing the relationship. And as a salesperson, I'm confident to say he's 80-90% on board with this. And I think I can probably get him on the board of directors. And if I get him on the board of directors for EDUIT, then we're definitely going. We're definitely flying. Because I'll be able to leverage him to open significant doors. So right now what I'm doing is kind of putting that board together. I've got Al thinking about, and I'd love to have you on board, kind of maybe doing the same thing, working together. Like I said to Al, I don't give a crap about percentages and everything else and what percentage. I think it's kind of stupid at this point to talk that way. I think we just need to know that we're the team, all right? And I will accept whatever it takes, because once you start talking to investment bankers and everything else, we need to be flexible to say sure, whatever. You guys decide. I'm going to be sure. You guys, you and Al, from my perspective, make the decision on that in regards to how the for-profit side is going to work, right? Equity and all of that, and what we need to do to bring in funding. The nonprofit, I think, will get us going, because I could probably, once I put, maybe we'll have you on the board. It's up to you. Maybe you have someone else that you'd like to have on the board. Once I put the board together, okay, and we got an impressive board, what I'm going to do is probably do a feasibility study to try to secure $50,000 to $100,000 right off the bat, and I'll. Once I get the board together, I'll do the feasibility study, which will take me 1 month. I'll call, some leading folks, some people that I've done business with in the past, and say, listen, John, this is what's happening. What do you think? Do you agree with it? And I'll spend maybe 30 minutes to an hour on the phone. I'll know whether they're going to invest or not. I'm testing 150 to 100,000. I need you on at 10, 20,000. This is what the money's going to be used for. A greater feasibility, for hiring, some consultants to work on this, for putting together the blueprinting for the software. We got certain collaterals that we got to put together before we can even go in front of, investment bankers and everything else. And once that's done, and maybe, I need travel expenses. I may need to fly so and so. I'd like to come over to China. You sell me. This is the genius behind it, coming in from Japan, whatever, So I'll be kind of the outside specialist, coming in, showing the passion, showing everything, behind this project. We'll have everything really tidy, no loose ends, and we will, we will freaking, rocket the world on this, in my opinion. There's a lot of, I'm thinking we could, there would be marketing opportunities. K12, flattening education. We could maybe T-shirts. We can get, teachers behind this. We can get a grassroots movement, kind of pushing behind the nonprofit side on this to bring momentum. Get on some TV shows, telling the world this is what we're doing. We're flattening education. Kids are going to be able to compete. There's not going to be, any barriers to learning. It's time for this to happen. So, I don't know. What do you think? What are your concerns? Right. What are your concerns, or what do you think? Sure. can I let me ask let me answer this, okay? Let me answer that, all right? Okay, it can be, all right, it can be a bureaucratic barriers, but this is my opinion, okay? If we build this thing, you're going to have the homeschoolers using it, all right? You're going to have teachers. You're going to have teachers using it. And what I think I know what's going to happen is once people see it and understand it and use it and see the ease of the usage and the benefit that it has for their students, people are just going to use it. It's just like Wikipedia. People. Wikipedia ran into a lot of when they were trying to raise money. I mean, he only has one. Wikipedia only has one full-time paid person. I don't know if you're aware of that. They only have one employee. One employee. Okay, he couldn't get funding. Right? They're all volunteers on Wikipedia. His presentation actually on TED is really good. He talks about it. So we need to say, we don't want to get bogged down with the bureaucracy. What we need to be, our position needs to be, listen, you're either on board or you're not. It's no big deal. It's kind of, in a way, it's like Nick does this with one laptop per child. And he does it, if you listen to his presentation on TED, he does it exactly right. He says, you can either be on or you can get in line. Okay, it's your choice. We're not going to wait for you. This is happening. So if China, if China, and this is my argument with China, and this is what I will say to anyone. I said, if China feels that they can build a traditional educational infrastructure, bricks and mortar, train teachers, to educate their kids, I think we can do an ROI showing that, okay, we have this one, and I'll be honest with you, I think this project is going to cost them between 100 to 200 million to actualize. Now I'm guessing at that number, but I'm with the hardware and the media buys and the different aspects, I'm not talking about creating like another Winky, right? That costs 20,000 and or not even that, 5,000 in volunteer cost to build. This is going to be built in a way like the next EverQuest or the next EverQuest 4 or the next big game, but it's not going to be 3D. It's not any of that bullshit. It's going to be very, very professionally put together, and it's going to be very easy for what I call the users to participate and add content to it, or I would say stick skin to the skeleton. The skeleton we're going to build. All right, the K12 math is there. I mean, you can do a mind map from kindergarten to 12th grade. What's the process of math? Okay, and you can pull that information, that content together for free. You can present that content in a professionally in a multi-level multimedia content in a form professionally designed, and then you can have every country, every teacher, all they're doing is putting the translation, the voiceover. Now, so we have that in place. Why wouldn't teachers, anywhere, if they have an internet connection, why wouldn't they use it if it was free? Okay. Okay. But what were they trying to do? I'm saying I'm going to build it. I have the software engineers that are going to build it. I have the vehicle is going to raise the money. I don't need, all I want to do with China is make sure that they're not like the token black person who we at the end of the at the end of 3 years that we go to, oh, by the way, we want to bring this idea to project to you. What I want to do is have a Chinese software development company working on this, and we'll pay them. I'll raise the money. We'll pay them to work on it. Sure. Right. Exactly. Exactly. I agree. Right. 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 No, I agree. That's exactly what I envision. I mean, you've got if all we and I guess that kind of give credence to how I see it. That's why I don't want to get caught up in the bureaucracy. If you could if for example I can have the right people on the board, I call champions, maybe it's your friend, maybe it's you, I don't know, on the board of directors, we can raise the money to build this thing and not worry about the bureaucracy in the United States or the bureaucracy in China. And like I said with the States, what I envision will happen in the States will be the homeschoolers using it first, right? The homeschool network would jump all over it. So if they had K12, if the parents had a way to sit beside their children and start from kindergarten and go all the way up to high school and beyond on a platform, that's fun. There's nothing on. I mean, I wish someone would point me to one web page online that's actually fun for kids to use for K12. All right, I haven't been able to find one. Now maybe you know of one, but there isn't one. I can go to a gaming store and I can show you 1,000 titles that kids would jump all over, right? And they will spend hours and hours and hours and hours learning. So all I'm saying is let's build this thing right, and the usage are going to come. The users will come. So yeah, right. Leapfrog is a company. All right. Yeah. Well, that would maybe be a good partner. No, I'm not actually. No, I'm not. No. But right. Well, I want to take Leapfrog and make it free. I mean, why do kids? Why do kids have to buy? Why do people have to pay for education? Right. 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 Okay. Well, how would you feel about being on the board or being an advisor to EDUIT, which is the nonprofit? What's your you know what, do you serve on any nonprofit boards? Do you? Right. Do you serve on any nonprofit boards, Don? All right. Well, you know then what the require. I mean, there's really. I mean, there really isn't any requirement, to serve on a board except for, when we do our meetings or whatever, which we'll probably do virtual because I'm not going to be in DC anyway to serve on. It's going to be a virtual board, a virtual meeting space for our board of directors. The other thing is just to give you for me an advisor, just so you know, is a yellow sticky with K12 written on it, and posted it on your on whatever space that you look at most often. It could be your toilet or whatever. Right. Right. And I would like if you yeah, if you could make a I would love to, those are the folks that when I do the feasibility that I need to talk to. So if you've got anyone who's gone through that, who's gone through that learning experience, that could help, I'd like to know, where or how, the event or whatever went awry, for the project. That would be very helpful. To me, like I said, I see this as really simple. I mean, yeah, it's a big project. It's going to take substantial money to pull off, to pull the pieces together. But I have a vision that we'll be able to identify the next Ed Wittens, who's typing on one of our products, who's learning mathematics for free, which is will be built on like Mathematica, and let's say they're in a little town that has internet connection out God knows where, and we know exactly what's this 10-year-old doing calculus. Yeah, he just loves it. He's just a natural. He's just gifted at it, and what value to society or to the world to be able to identify the next Ed Witten or the next Einstein or the next individual that dies or doesn't have the opportunity for education. And and especially when we're dealing with terrorism and we're dealing with all the alienation of the United States, one thing that's causing that is the ignorance of communities, of individuals, and they're just ignorant. So it's to the best to national security, to the welfare of industry, to dealing with global warming, to flatten education and to have every kid in the world competing on the same platform, and winning scholarships and whatever, to go to schools or high school. I envision in the future high school will be for those that that master the basic skills and can show. So I see education being very parent driven. I see the learning process being in the home again, going back to the home, and then schools and stuff becoming a special place that the ones that really apply themselves go. And everyone else gets a good education at home, better than what we can get right now in high schools, using K12, and become productive to society. So I don't. It's hard for me to understand if I guess where I understand it, if you're trying to make this an American project, then you got to and you're trying to get the schools to buy in, then you hit a dead wall. If you're trying to go to China and you're trying to get the endorsement of the getting the schools behind this, then you're going to hit the dead wall. And the same thing in Japan, and same thing in any place where there's bureaucracy. But if you build the game, and you have the internet, I mean, if, for example, you said, the government doesn't support, I don't think the unless it's changed, I can't imagine the Chinese government supporting Wikipedia. But how many Wikipedia pages are in Chinese? It's exactly what what you said. It's the individuals, it's the family, it's the they're like they're going to participate in Wikipedia because they see the benefit, and I think the same would be for K12. Oh, it is blocked. In It's really important. Okay, all right. Well, be I wonder. Right. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Right. Right. Maybe they can be the pilot. We'll make them the pilot there. That makes sense too. Yeah, and I thought that's all right. Okay. Well, great. Well, I want your consideration to either be, I got, it took me a month, but I got Woody Flowers. He's the guy behind, I have him on the website, so I don't know if you watch this stuff. He's at MIT, but he's the guy who, he has a really good presentation on this. And he did I don't know if you watched all the robotic competitions. He's on a lot of boards. Um, the kids, the high school kids compete building robots that fills baskets and does, it's huge now. They have like 5 million kids around the world all participating in this, in these Olympics now. So he's the guy who founded that. So I'm getting some really good people, behind this. Having you behind this would be, just I'm not looking for any money, and maybe I say, before for anything, maybe I'm not really interested in talking money right now. What I'm interested in getting the right people on that I can show various companies that I want to approach that we have a good organization, and that all we're going to do initially is explore it. So the feasibility that I'm going to do will just, we'll map out, whether what's the next stages and who we need to bring on board and so on for this. So I think I have a really good, ground-based team together, and, having your participation on either as an advisor on the board, either or, I don't care. I prefer you having you on the board, but that's, um, but we can work towards that. Yeah, and if you think of right, and if you think of anyone that you think for this project to happen, you need to have this person on board. If you you mentioned your friend at Microsoft China, I'd like to approach some folks with an open mind. I don't really feel like we're not ready to go to Microsoft Foundation yet or Google Foundation or any of that crap. We have a lot of work to do, but if you keep in mind, if you look at the Winky page is my back office, so letters going out, communications, all of that's there. I put everything online just in case I get hit by a bus tomorrow. At least maybe someone will pick up the reins and run with it. So everything, if you watch that, understand this project is less than a month. Look at the scope, that's the synergy that's building behind it, and if it's growing really, really fast. So I've been surprised at it. So keep an eye on it. No, you're realist. No, I mean that's why no, 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 no. You need no, no. I agree. I mean, I need individuals that have realistic and understand who've been there. I mean, that's crucial. I mean, how else are we going to circumvent the rough waters if I don't have people on board who have seen where the rocks are? So and we need to be proactive and we need to address those issues early on. So so we can be successful. All right. So Don, I look. Go ahead. Go ahead. I look forward to seeing your email, and why don't you spend a week thinking about coming on board. So know that it won't be have any impact to your time, and I think you'll look back and on the experience and say thank God that I did. Hopefully, I'm pretty sure you will, because the one other time that I felt this way, I'll just tell you, I was a college student. It was about bringing theater to Tallahassee, Florida. I was a theater major. I just spent the summer at the Royal National Theater, where Anthony Hopkins, Ian McKellen, Alan Rickman were all my master teachers. I was one of two undergraduates. So after my master class with Alan Rickman, and he was like the plight of the theater, and it was all about that. I came back to the community and I made the decision that I was going to bring professional theater to Tallahassee, Florida, which there was none. So, I initially took the project to the dean of the School of Theater. He laughed at it and says, "Well, give me budgets, give me this. What experience, what background do you have?" And I didn't have any. I was 25 years old, bounced through a few different majors, guy who just started theater. So anyway, we got, I was able to get the right folks. I didn't get him, so I got the founder of the School of Theater on board. And because of him, I'm looking at Clyde as is kind of him. He opened the door to some of the other individuals in the community that I needed. They trusted him, and he basically gave them my blessing. He tapped me on the shoulder and says, Michael has the right vision, the right dream. I support it, and the other folks that we needed. The first year, we saw over 20,000 people come to this free Shakespeare in the Park, and I didn't have any experience raising money. I raised about 100,000. So that was a long, long time ago, and I'm a very different person. So in many ways, I look at that project where I'm in somewhat similar fashion, where it's my training wheels. In my role here is I'm, in similar respect, the producer, assembling the team. Having you on board that team is taking the step in the right direction for this to happen. And, providing hopefully the type of education. I mean, my biggest concern is I've got a daughter coming. I have good feeling it's going to be a daughter, my first child. And I want when she turns, 7, 8 years old, that she's going to have a mechanism to, give her the training, the education that she needs to excel in the future. So this isn't new to me. It's a different type of production, but I am 100% committed, and there's not anything that's going to change my mind. There isn't any obstacle, any barriers, anything that won't say, well, you can't. It's not going to change my mind, and I'm going to keep going. So I will be relentless, and I will keep going till the day I die. I have nothing else better to do. I've got the perfect life. I'm not a millionaire. I don't care about money. I've got the perfect wife. I've got the perfect life. I enjoy doing what I do. So this is more of an ideal Very much like the idea with the Shakespeare. I didn't do the Shakespeare Festival for money. I did it because we needed professional theater for the students in that community, and we needed to unite the community. So this is the same thing, it's just on a different scale. So and one thing, one of my big idols is Alexander the Great, and I don't know if you're a history buff at all, but when his dad died, he was 19 years old. This is a 5 foot tall guy, and and now emperor of a small kingdom, whatever, kind of a dog of a kingdom in regards to the Greeks and everyone else. I mean, they were nothing. So once his dad died, everyone thought his note. And his big thing was his generals. And most people don't realize Alexander wasn't Alexander without his generals, without the folks around him. And I can imagine Alexander, when his father died or shortly after, and watching, generals going in different ways and, not knowing what he's going to do with the future, say, I got to unite these people, I got to bring them together. And I can imagine him drawing out, the known world at the time in sand and saying to the generals, like, what part do you want? And they're like, what? What part of this world do you want, are you interested in having? Now, some walked away, others sat there and claimed it, and and got their due diligence. But he couldn't have captured the world without his generals. He couldn't have done squat with his 35,000 men against 125,000 Persians without his generals. He's just one guy. He couldn't have done it. So to me, the generals, I'm just the guy with the vision. And what Alexander did was a million times harder and tougher than what I'm setting out to do. So that gives me comfort, So for me, I look at that, I'm like, this is a piece of cake compared to what, Alexander did. And I think with the right generals like yourself and the right generals behind me, like Clyde and like Woody and and the other ones that will eventually be assembled, we will do this. And I think we could do it in a very, very short time. Within 2 to 3 years, this platform could be built. It could be rolled out. It could be it could be in place. Because we don't need to invent anything. Everything is there. Okay. So get off my. All right. Sure. Thanks a lot, Don. You take care now. I want to visit you in China, so I definitely want to come see your operation in the near future. No. I live in rural Japan. I'm on your side. I live in Fukui, which is if you take Japan folded in half, it's I'm in the middle on the Japanese seaside. So every day I look out over the water, I'm looking at looking at China. So I'm in the heart of Zen Buddhism. This is where Zen Buddhism was founded. So it's very serene, it's very peaceful, it's great. I mean, I left Manhattan, Wall Street job, 6 figures. I left I said, fuck Sally Mae, you can keep my student debt. So, I mean, I just came here and I wanted a different life and I found it. So now I'm just pursuing a passion of, to be honest, more probably selfish, I want it for my children more than anything else. And if that's the driving force, that's the driving force. So, and I'm, like I said, I'm 100% behind making it happen. All right, Don, I look forward to getting your email, and I appreciate you taking the time to, to meet with me and to talk. All right, take care. All right, Don, take care. Bye-bye.